Hello again, Julian here from the Ecompreneur. Great to have you back. And just gave you a sort of brief of where I'm at and what I'm doing in the first video. The second video is really about, I guess, the workflow of going from, what the hell do I do in e-commerce to having a 7 to 8 figure platform built out, all the infrastructure built out properly, in terms of the technical architecture and the information architecture. And this is what I've been learning over the last 18 months, 2 years. I've gone through enormous pain and expense working this out, because as I mentioned in the first video, it's been a journey of discovery, and it surprised me too, just how much that I've uncovered. And some of it's complete bullshit and makes me angry, and the other stuff is just like, wow, this is really building the integrity within your business from a not just a technical side with the web architecture, but in terms of how you're connecting with your ideal customer profile, the people that you really want to have an affinity with and you can converse, whether it's you personally or your brand. It's like you can design this any way you want. So planning is really, really important, and I don't think we are taught enough about it, and this is something that I really want to dig into a lot deeper with the group, because you have to reinvent the plan all the time. You can continually morphing in this industry. It doesn't stay still for very long at all, as you probably know. If you're brand new, you haven't probably experienced that, and you haven't been contaminated by internet marketers, and that's fantastic if you haven't, because they can really make you unrealistic about what is in front of you, right? So I'm here to just say to you that it's hard work, and my job right now is to test you and make sure that you're on the right track. Because if you come down this path as an entrepreneur within e-commerce and try and become an e-compreneur, you are putting yourself in the top 1% of people in the world, especially online. There are millions and millions of websites, and most of them fail miserably. They don't make any money. They just cost you money. And so many businesses spend, 20, 30, 40,000 on a website. It just sits there and there's nothing happening. A website for your business is like an ecosystem. It's a whole network, an elaborate system of links and content and automation and branding and all that kind of stuff, and products and suppliers and, designs. It's pretty full on. So if you're brand new and you don't have a pretty strong constitution, you're expecting a lot of yourself. And if you are thinking that you're going to just walk into this business, find a hot product, put up a Shopify site or stick it on Amazon and make millions of dollars, I think it's a bit of a pipe dream. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it is not as easy as it's made out to be. So in my mind, I want to do whatever I can to limit the risk and investment up front. And I can tell you now, without any shadow of a doubt, 25 grand is what you need to set up an e-commerce business. You're going to need 20 grand, 20, 25. Some of you will probably go, nah, it's rubbish. But I can tell you, you'll do at least 4 or 5 courses. Some of them could be as much as $5,000, and you don't have any asset built. I've done courses that are $15,000 and it's all conceptual. It's like, and you walk away going, well, that was a waste of time and a waste of money. 15 grand US, and I'm an Aussie. I got the exchange rate. It's like $20,000. I've done some pretty big guru courses and walked away with a theme. That's all we've got. We've still got to go and get outsourcers and build it. And that one was about 15,000 US. So you can burn through 20,000, no problem. And that's not including if you have to buy inventory. So I don't want to be a startup and have to buy inventory. I want to be able to just build my infrastructure and test. It's all that testing, right? So we've got to plan this out. So the first step here is the planning and the research. They're the first 2 parts of the phases that you go through before you launch. So planning is a very personal thing. You've got to tailor this business to suit you, because this is about you, not me, right? So how much time do you have? How much money do you have? What skills do you possess? And what experience do you have? What can you bring to the table, and what's missing? What are the gaps missing? So understanding that's really important. Understanding where you want to end up is super important, because if you can look in the future and say, right, I just want 10 grand a month, or I want 50 grand a month, net profit. I never talk gross, I talk net profit, right? We want net profit. So you might start off thinking, 2 or 3 grand, but I can tell you now, a couple of sessions with me, you'll be thinking 40, 50, right? Because it's not a pipe dream. 100,000 plus is getting a bit tougher, but anywhere between 20 and 40 is actually not difficult. If you go through a process, and that's all it is it's a process of setting up the right infrastructure and measuring numbers. That's it, and optimizing. That in itself sounds pretty simple, but it's not. You got to learn the skills and have the experience to know what to do, right? So build the infrastructure first, learn the more advanced skills later. So for a lot of us, building the infrastructure, content, websites, graphic design, we've got no idea how to pull it all together, and we get lost. And then when we get lost, we feel, or we're more vulnerable to the inbox thing, that comes in with the guru going, hey, you can just set this up in 2 minutes and everything's flash and you're going to make tons of money. You don't want to be vulnerable to that. If you plan and research properly, you're going to be very strong about where you're heading. And that's what I want to get across to you with this, because we put blueprints together now when we're tackling a market. We want to know what products we should be going after and what we should avoid, or if they're super competitive from an organic perspective, with SEO, are they good for PPC? And should we be targeting that particular product and term for PPC, and this one here for SEO or organic, long tail keywords and things like that? And we work out how we're going to rank for these and what their value is, and roughly how long it's going to take to get return on investment to make it profitable. Now that's very, very different to find a hot product, stick it on Shopify and just run Facebook ads to it, and do your audience insights and all that kind of stuff. We are laying very, very solid foundations if we look at our plan and our vision and our mission statement and connect to who we want to help in a particular market, and in a market that we have some kind of affinity with. It doesn't have to be a burning passion. That's a fallacy. But we want to make this fun. So do something that you feel would be fun. That's the criteria for me. We can have a look at a marketplace and dig in deep to see where the commercial intent is. If you don't have access to that kind of thing, then you're going to have to go and have a look at the competing pages and who's selling and what they're selling, and get on their newsletters and see what's coming in, and go to sites like Alexa and see how much traffic they're getting, and how much authority they've got on their pages and their domain, right? So there's little things you can do there to assess the competition and figure out what you're going to do to be able to dominate and get the rankings up and the PPC campaigns happening. So we want to see what we can do from an organic, PPC and retargeting campaigns to build up that part of the business. So the planning and the research is absolutely critical. So we have a process that builds out a blueprint, and we are really trying to find those gems in the marketplace that have got high search volumes. There's lots of potential traffic, but the competition is pretty low. Lower the better, obviously. And we just find these hidden gems that are not being targeted, and it just happens all the time, right? So then we can build out the content around that and the whole plan, so that you lay the foundations from the organic side of things, building the house, the infrastructure, and the content, the engagement, the conversion goes up because it's targeted to these specific pain points that people have and issues that they've got and desires they've got in their emotions. Because people buy on emotion, they don't buy on logic. And it doesn't matter how much you try and convince yourself that you've got to talk about the features and be logical. It's not what even the most left brain engineering type still buys on emotion. They try and hide from it and do whatever they do. Because I'm the opposite. I'm the easiest bloke to sell to in the world. I love buying stuff. So, we really want to connect with our ideal customer profile and how they think, and really understand them. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. You've got to dig deep into your market, and there's so many benefits of sub-niching down, and especially when you're starting out and you're launching, being very specific. So we talk a lot about that. So, the planning and research phase, I think is overlooked by most people, and it's probably the most important part, because we want to win that battle and win the war before we step out. So imagine that, if you know everything or a lot about your marketplace and you know what you're going to target before you start spending money and time, and you know that you're setting up a system that will convert, or it's got a good chance of converting, and if it doesn't convert, you're going to know why, because you're tracking, measuring, you're split testing, you're doing all that stuff, right? It changes everything. Everything. Because if you don't do that, it's just hit and miss, and you're guessing, and you're hoping, and you're spinning the roulette wheel. So don't do that. Even if you don't end up doing anything with me, go and find out how not to do that, and don't get sucked into this sales hype, because it's probably the biggest cancer you've got in this industry, and it's just gambling. So that's planning and research. Next, I want to talk about in more detail is the blueprints that we do, and it's just going to be a short video to explain what has evolved with what I've been doing and what I could do for you. And there's a few cheaper options and a couple of free options that can be really useful for you. So I don't want you to think this is all about trying to flog a whole bunch of people into a pilot program. This pilot program is there to help me design my 12-month program, right? And in return, I'm giving it to you for half price, and you get a whole year with me, and the normal coaching, which is a 12-week program, is going to be the same price, and you don't get any one-on-one. So it's a really great deal for the right person. But if it's not right for you, it's fine. I will help you find something that's the right fit for you. So below, you can book in for a time, whether you've got money or not, brand newbie, experienced, it doesn't matter. We'll spend 10 or 15 minutes together. I only need 5 minutes to get you on the right track, I promise you. So either way, I'm sure you'll come away with it feeling like you've got some kind of value. And I'm going to probably do about 5 or 6 of those calls a week. So it's not just an open slather 24/7. There's about 300 people on this list. I expect to do about 50 calls. And out of that 50, we might get 2 or 3 people come into the group. And that's fine. And if we're getting on, that's fine. 3 weeks from now, we're going to do, if we need to, we'll do a mini promotion. And I'll do everything I can to help you. So book in if you want to. If you've got any questions, there should be a question thing down below. If not, just email me. Most of you should have my email, support@ecompreneur.com. And Ecompreneur is ECOMMPRENEUR.com. And I'm more than happy to have a chat. Okay, thanks. I'll see you in the next video. We're going to talk about blueprints in the next one. Okay, bye.